Welcome to MGFMP, Migration Geography for Mr. Price. In this episode, we will talk about Brazilian migration and a bunch of other cool stuff. So tell us, Joffrey, about Brazilian migration.
The mechanization of agriculture in recent years has meant a small demand for physical laborers to work farmland in Brazil's rural areas.
A large number of Brazilians have been attracted to emigrate to bigger cities like Rio or Brasilia in order to improve their living standards. Rural jobs often come with low wages or possibly even no pay.
People have been attracted to rural areas due to a number of factors. A great possibility of high wages and paid employment.
Access to health and education services. The Brazilian government often provides subsidies for free healthcare and free education.
Access to internet lures in younger population.
Easier access to retail services.
Many Brazilians also take into account the social and cultural attractions, such as Carnival, a citywide festival that lasts an entire week for music, dancing, and food. This festival is important to many Brazilians.
They also move in search of better living conditions. Some favelas are actually better than their previous homes. But many Brazilians who have newly moved to urban areas find themselves in similar or even worse positions than they were.
Today I'm in the Rocinha favela. I'm here to meet Orlando Iglesias, who moved here in Rio de Janeiro.
Bom dia, como está?
Hello, Mr. Orlando.
Bom dia.
When did you first come to Rio, Mr. Orlando?
3 months ago, I moved from my house in Teresópolis to favela here in Rio.
Is life treating you any better?
My life here very low money, but not as better in the farmland, because there are many people in one house and they're all in one stack, but very smelly and sometimes in the house, but no hygiene, no nothing, but it's okay.
What do you do for a living?
I do some illegal drug trafficking in Brazil, and it's very good to live here in the favela in Brazil. Drug dealing lets me earn more money, but it's just for my needs. But don't worry, I don't do drugs. But if you want one, I give you for free, no problem.
Oh my, no thank you.
Okay.
Oh wow! I don't know how National Geographic let us hear that. People moving from rural Brazil to urban Brazil is often categorized as internal migration. There is often no legal restrictions because you're moving inside your own country. But sometimes distance and cost can greatly affect the possibility of not only international migration, but also internal migration.
When we met Orlando Iglesias in Rio de Janeiro, ladies in our crew loved his accent. We offered him a job here, and he will explain the constraints of migration.
He now earns enough to own a pair of sunglasses.
It is an honor to be here in the studio. I'd like to thank my ladies for bringing me here. Time to get to business. When a person has to leave their home, costs such as paying off asset, agents, and legal fees must be paid before you sell a house. This is quite expensive to do in MEDC, but it's cheaper in LEDC. This is known as closing up.
Time taken on the journey to the place, personal transport costs, and the cost of transporting possessions can all be issues for a financially struggling family or person.
When a person has reached a new home, costs may be required to begin life at the new destination, such as purchasing a new house.
Thank you, Orlando. Welcome
Yes,
to the new
mas.
job.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, Mr. Iglesias. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much. I like.
That was the fun part of our documentary. Now it's time for the boring part, where we talk about boring models that have been named after a Mexican, a communist, and Robert Downey Jr.
attractive bright light of large urban cities had attracted many rural dwellers. Many of them were just simply replacing rural poverty with urban poverty.
This is mainly due to the media brainwashing rural migrants into thinking that moving city is going to bring them prosperity.
This where the Mexican steps in, and sadly he's not a Mexican. Michael Torrado, an American economist, argued against his view. He said that migrants' ideas of this new prosperous life were indeed accurate. He supported this by saying that migrants would weigh up the costs and benefits and eventually in long term raise their social economic standards.
They were prepared to endure short-term difficulties with the hope of eventual long-term wealth, which would then be passed down to their children.
The Iron Man model is a continuation of the Tadaro model, but instead of having a single person as our example, a whole family is put under analysis. And now I will perform a magic trick. Want to see me do it again? Class.
In the Torrado model, it is assumed that individual migrants react on their own to attain a better lifestyle. However, the Stark model argues that a group of people, such as family, is consistent with migration instead of the individual.
A great example of this would be how families in rural areas invest into their firstborn son's education. They expect that the funds attained from the firstborn will support the upbringing of the remaining children and also an important effect on the general standard of living in the family.
This model takes anomalies of data, rural capital market and transactions cost. It also emphasizes the importance of migration, decisions of relative deprivation in the local income distribution rather than absolute deprivation.
The Marxist theory derives from the Marxist analyst. They are named after the support of the views of Karl Marx, the father of communism.
"60 years ago, doing this in public was a sign of friendship between males, but now it is a sign of homosexuality." The Marxist theory argues that migration is inevitable due to it being the only option after alienation from the land has occurred. This word means a condition of workers in a capitalist economy resulting from a lack of identity with the products of their labor and a sense of being controlled or exploited.
This addresses the advantage migrant labor bring the capitalist production. The inevitability of this migration is said to be the transition to capitalism.
This model seems international migration as an unequal movement for people from LEDCs to the interests of MADCs. Think of it like a peripheral areas of the world feeding into the core, which is the MEDC.
Thank you for watching MGF MP, Migration Geography for Mr. Price. Welcome to MGF. What?
Agriculture. In recent years, has been a small...
Stop. Cut! Sunglasses.
Woo! When a person has to leave their job, what the
Well, actually, Julia actually dropped the ball just now. You see that thing over there? Exactly.
Has a definition.
Get wrecked!